Hey guys, the X-T4 has now been announced. We now know the true specs, and I'm going to explain why I don't think that this is a true upgrade. I think that this is more of a form factor change, a bit more choice, and I'm going to explain exactly why. Before we start, I just need to give a round of applause to Fujifilm. They've listened to their customers, they've given their consumers exactly what they've been asking for. They do polls, they do their research, they have their ambassadors, and they give what they ask for. And I think that's very admirable for a company. But I don't know if the X-T4 is right for me. For someone that shoots on two X-T3s, I'm going to explain why I'm going to hold off, and I don't see this as a true upgrade. The main reason why I won't be upgrading to X-T4 is purely because form follows function. The way I utilize my X-T3 makes a huge impact on my work. Let's go through them. If this camera was made a couple of years ago, back when I was shooting Canon, I would have switched in a heartbeat and I would have felt right at home. But not having the flippy screen has actually taught me a few things. Number one, having the flippy screen is actually distracting when you're vlogging. When you're vlogging, you're actually looking at the flippy screen like this, instead of actually looking at the lens. Auto ISO and all these new features have really made it easy to vlog without a flippy screen. Also, who vlogs anymore? Can we just address that issue right now? I see more videos on YouTube of people making tutorials or talking about, is the camera good enough to vlog with, rather than actually going out and vlogging. We all sit down like this. I'm guilty of it. I had to ask myself the hard question, do I well and truly vlog to justify having a flippy screen? No. The main thing that I learned from not having the flippy screen is having the tilt screen allows me to keep my camera compact. If I'm in an event, a wedding, or even with family and friends, not having the flippy screen allows it to look less intimidating, more discreet, better results from the people that I'm shooting. When I'm shooting an event, less people are distracted from seeing the flippy screen out. They're not going to be thinking, is he really taking a picture of me when I'm sipping my coffee? Like, it just makes it a lot easier. It looks more like a film camera, and that just works for my shooting style. Also, for my street photography, I like to get low in portrait mode and just flick the camera up slightly, just tilt it up, just to see what I'm shooting, and it's not flipping out or anything. I like to put it on the ground sometimes, and having that flip screen will just hit the ground. So that's another reason why. But if you are someone that vlogs, this is well and truly a separate option for you. I'm not here to bash the X-T4, I'm really excited for it, but I realize that this is not for me. And if anyone out there has like two X-T3s and kind of feeling anxious about not having the greatest or the upgrade, ask yourself these questions. Do you well and truly vlog to justify having a flippy screen? Next thing is IBIS. Me and IBIS have a weird relationship because it sounds like a great idea, but then I actually see people's videos using IBIS and I get that weird warpy jelly look. And if you're familiar with my channel, if you watch my videos, you see the way I shoot my B-roll, I shoot my content, it's all handheld. Funny enough, it's all handheld. I have a tutorial on how to shoot handheld, link down below or up here, whatever it may be. See how I shoot handheld. If I whip the camera, make in-camera transitions using IBIS, I wouldn't get the results I'm getting right now. Most likely I would probably wreck the mechanism inside the camera because I'm shaking it and moving it around. There's a few videos online which shows what happens when a camera has IBIS in a car. Another thing to mention is, the Angry Photographer has made many videos about this. You cannot switch IBIS off. Yes, you can switch off the power to the mechanism, but the sensor will always be floating and moving inside the camera. It's not something that I can switch off. Autofocus is great, but when you want to switch it off, you just press a button and you can manually focus and get on with it. It doesn't float. It's not like your focusing is going to be loose now, is it? IBIS cannot be switched off. I want total and utter control. There's a reason why they have a GH5 and a GH5S. So, like I said, this is a form factor option here. To a consumer that might find this really useful, might have jittery hands, this is a camera that will cater for their needs. But if you're someone that doesn't really need IBIS, don't think you need IBIS. Don't try and tell yourself that you need IBIS. What are you shooting? Is it professional? Do you need to make sure that you have total control? Don't get IBIS. Are you someone that's a bit more, you shoot video occasionally and you don't really have gimbals or you don't really have time to learn how to shoot handheld? Maybe IBIS is for you. Maybe that full package is for you, but it's not for me. Also, I just made a mini documentary on K-Kurd, London comedian, good friend of mine. Shooting this documentary was really fun, but I just shot it all handheld. Link down below, check it out. It was all handheld. You just need to put a bit more weight on your camera and you can have total control of how you shoot everything. Also, if something's going to be professionally shot, rig up your camera, add a bit more weight. If something's going to be professional, you're going to have time to choose and plan those moments. If you don't have time to plan and choose those moments, go for a handheld rig, puts a bit of weight. You can tilt, turn, pan. You're not going to get any warpy jelliness. Also, if your camera's rigged up, you can't really flip it out if you have another handle, but being able to tilt the screen down allows me to have the option to still look at my screen. Yes, the battery is definitely an improvement. I can't argue with that, but if you're someone that makes a living from your work, your photography, your video, you'll know to change the batteries if needed. Otherwise, like again, with my handheld rig, I've got a power adapter on top. I can just plug it in if needed, and I can shoot for many, many hours. It's the same processor and it's the same sensor, so nothing in terms of image quality is gonna change. The only thing that I'm probably a bit salty about, and I really want to admit, is that the new X-T4 can shoot video to 2 SD cards. That's a feature which I might have to compromise on not getting. I hope that they would put it in the X-T3 in maybe 6 months time, but I'm gonna bank on it not happening because I can imagine it might take a lot more power to do, hence the battery upgrade. But if it's something which does require me to have a backup and it's really, really important and I cannot risk it at all, use an Atomos Ninja on top and make sure that you're covered. I want to hear what you guys think. If any of you have an X-T3, are you going to upgrade to the X-T4? Or are you like me where you are tempted, but you realize that there's no actual added benefit from upgrading your cameras? I'm making this video more probably for myself or anyone that has gear acquisition syndrome, was wondering, do I really need to upgrade? No, you don't need to upgrade. You need to chill out and you need to get to work and focus on shooting. In my opinion, the X-T3 is way more modular. You can add things, you can take things away, you can switch things off, you can switch things on. It's totally up to you. Hopefully some of the new features will come to the X-T3 from the X-T4, such as classic negative, perhaps the digital image stabilization, at least that I can switch on and switch off to my taste. But if you're someone that's switching over to Fujifilm, your budget will only allow you to have one camera to do everything. You're dabbling in video, you're kind of vlogging, you don't know what your niche is yet. I think this is a key thing to remember. Depends what your niche is. If you're trying to do everything, the X-T4 is a phenomenal choice, phenomenal price point. Fujifilm has killed it, but I think the X-T3 is still a viable option, and that's the whole point of this video. The X-T3 is still a viable option next to the X-T4. For me, it's more of a form option. It's a different utilization purposes. Still the same image, same quality, same 4K. It's more about which shooting style supports your needs. Who knows, maybe I'll pick one up in the future if a job calls for it. This is not to say that you shouldn't get the X-T4, but it's to kind of remind you, why are we doing this? Why are we sitting here making videos, and what do these tools actually do for us? I hope you liked this video, guys. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a long rant. Check out the mini documentary I made with K-Curd, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Take care.